Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll be doing a review on the Everlast Elite 2 Pro Headgear. So stay tuned. Hey guys, Carlo here. Today I'm doing a review on the Everlast Elite 2 Pro Headgear. This retails for $129.99 on Everlast website. It comes in all black and is one size fits all with Velcro adjustment on both the top and the rear of the headgear. It's made of a synthetic polyurethane outside casing, the same material that can be found on the Elite 2 Pro training gloves. It utilizes 2 layers of foam padding throughout the entire headgear, with the interior foam being more softer and forgiving that lines up against your skin. You also have this smooth tri-coat liner on the inside, and then you have a firmer exterior foam on the outside. Lastly, the headgear is manufactured in India. You also have manufacturing tags on the crown of the headgear, as well as when the headgear was manufactured, the actual date, which was May of 2023, and even a purchase order number. So a lot of information there on the top of the crown where the tag is at. The first thing you'll probably notice, like I did, which makes this headgear unique and kind of sets it apart from others, is that it does come with a plastic ABS face shield. Now, this is a face shield that's meant for no contact, a little bit different than your standard face bar, face saver style headgears where you do have that bar in the front. Now, typically 9 times out of 10, most punches when you land on a face saver headgear won't be able to get through that little opening with that. In this case, this is completely no contact. So you can see there's virtually no room for anything to enter, whether it's your hand. I mean, even if you didn't have any gloves on, there's literally no way for my fist to go through this. The only way you could possibly hit somebody in the nose or the eye with this headgear is if you literally grab your fingers and you poke your fingers through the opening. But even with bare hands, and even more so if you had boxing gloves on, there's no way for you to get hit on your face, whether it's your nose, whether it's your eyes, or you're anywhere on the front part of your face. And that's essentially what this plastic shield is for. So if you're somebody that can't sustain damage, maybe you're in white collar work and you want to spar and get work in, but you can't come to work with a broken nose or a black eye or anything like that, or maybe you're an amateur, you're a pro, or you're somebody that spars quite a bit, and maybe you do have an injury, maybe you're recovering from a broken nose or a broken orbital bone or whatnot, and you still want to spar, this would be a good alternative for you. That way you can continue to spar, but you don't have to worry about sustaining more damage or doing further damage to your face. So you do have that. And what makes this really cool is that it's completely removable. That's what really makes this headgear unique, in the fact that it is strapped in just using Velcro. From a weight standpoint, this headgear, when I weighed it with everything including the plastic face shield, was at 20.2 ounces. So it's definitely on the heavier side with the plastic face shield. If you were to remove the face shield, then the headgear only weighs in at about 13 ounces. So a decent weight without the face shield, but understandably so, if you do have this face shield on, it's going to add weight to the headgear. Now, looking around, obviously I showed you guys the Velcro straps, but just kind of rotating to show you, we do have that top crown adjustment, which is all Velcro. You have the side Velcro straps here and this top Velcro strap as well. And that's basically to adjust for the depth on how far the headgear sits down on your head. And for everybody, obviously that's going to be a little bit different, but that's going to be the depth on how far this headgear sits down on your head. Rotating to the rear of the headgear, you do have the rear adjustment, and that's going to be the circumference of your head. Mine is already preset for the size of my head because I've used this already. And you do have 2 straps. You see a lot of other companies do a very similar thing where you have one strap going to the left and one going to the right. And you can also see that it does have the Everlast logo, and it says Elite in black as well. This synthetic material is the same material you'll find in their pro training gloves, the Elite 2 gloves, and it's a very smooth matte synthetic that they use. Coming to the side, you do have the recessed eardrums or ear protectors. I'm not a big fan of the look of this and just the way it feels. It feels very cheap, and you can see they just have that single stitching across. I would have much preferred some type of ear donut instead of this recessed opening. That way, if you do get hit to the side of the head with a hook or whatever type of punch lands right here, even though it is kind of recessed, I'd say about maybe 1/4 of an inch it would have been nice to have like a little bit of a donut there to kind of reduce a little bit of that impact to prevent your ear from getting that cauliflower ear. And that's what basically happens when you get that, is when you get hit in the ear, oftentimes the blood vessels will pop, and that's what you'll start to see, that kind of deformation of the cartilage in your ear and the blood vessels popping. So it would have been nice to have a donut around that on both sides. It does say Fight Team Everlast approved right there. You do have padding on the back of your head, so if you do accidentally get hit to the back of the head, you're looking at maybe about an inch and a quarter of firm density foam padding with a softer padding that lines up against your skin. And that's pretty much the same for the entire circumference of the headgear. You do have that nice smooth tri-coat liner on the inside, which I love. It feels very nice and smooth, and I actually like it better than the Everdry. I think they call it Everdry, or I forgot the other material, but a lot of the older Everlast headgears use a yellow liner with the Everlast logo printed on the liner. To me, that liner was more foamy, and it soaked up the sweat a lot more, and it just got real funky after time. So I definitely like the liner they use on here, and you can see the material, the foam they use on the inside is very soft, and then the foam on the exterior is more dense. So that's obviously that's what's going to be taking the impact, where the inside is more conforming to the structure and shape of your head. So I definitely like that softer material on the inside where the foam is at. You do have a Velcro chin strap that you can adjust that comes through here. I'm not a big fan of these cheaper style Velcro straps. I would have much preferred that they use the quick clip system. I know a lot of companies are starting to kind of follow what Winning did with that plastic clip, and I just prefer that because once you have it adjusted to your chin, then you just clip it in every single time. You don't have to continue to fuss with this Velcro, and again, it just feels kind of cheap, especially with this thin piece of Velcro. The other thing about Velcro when it comes to a chin strap is that Velcro over time, if you were to use this headgear a lot, the Velcro will start to lose its grip. And once it starts to lose its grip, then it's going to be hard for you to be able to get this to stick under your chin. So you might have to, like, you know, tie it off or do something crazy, kind of rig it for this Velcro to stick. So that's the other reason I'm not a big fan of Velcro when it comes to the chin strap, because this is going to be the part that you're going to undo and put on and undo and put on every time you use a headgear. The Velcro on the back and the top is fine, because once you set that the first time, there's really no reason for you to have to adjust that unless somebody else uses your headgear. But the chin strap is what you're going to constantly have to take on and off. And to me, a plastic clip system, to me, definitely would have been better. You do have a little bit of padding that covers the strap, so you don't have to worry about the actual chin strap digging into your chin. So let me go ahead and put this on and give you guys my perspective on how this headgear feels in terms of comfort, to let you guys know. So put that on, go ahead and put on the chin strap as well. And you just have this little sliver at the bottom, and just kind of come across to lock the chin strap in. Position of the chin strap is actually perfect. It's right underneath the chin. It's not too far back, and it's not right here on your throat choking you out. So you can essentially move your head in any position, left, right, up, down, and you don't have to worry about that chin strap digging in. It's typically when you tilt your head down that you oftentimes get that strap and it will dig into your throat, and it's very uncomfortable. But surprisingly, this headgear is actually very comfortable. When you put it on, that softer foam on the inside feels really good. I don't really have any types of pressure points around my head that are uncomfortable, whether that's on the front temple, of my head, my forehead, around my cheeks, or around my chin. I can definitely feel that it's kind of pushing in right here, but it's not uncomfortable to the point where I want to take the headgear off. So I can definitely feel that it's firm around my head, but it's not uncomfortable. Peripheral vision with this face shield sucks. I'm not a big fan of this face shield. Obviously, the pros and cons of this face shield, you're going to have the drawback is your peripheral vision, your vision in general. So the good thing is that you do have these little openings where you can kind of peek through and see punches or whatever kind of strikes are coming in at you. The problem is this bar definitely blocks a lot of the shots, just like any other face saver headgear, especially shots that are coming from down and going upwards. So any type of uppercut, if you're using this for kickboxing, Muay Thai, any type of knee, any type of movement that's coming up to your face is going to be generally harder to see. The same thing with your outside vision. It's just a little impaired because of this plastic shield right here. So yes, you're kind of trading off the protection. You're not going to have any punches whatsoever land into your nose, into your eyes, or into your cheeks. So you're getting that full protection, but you're sacrificing your vision for that. Coming to the side of the headgear, the ears are actually placed almost perfectly. You can see that my ears are right in here on the inside. So in terms of placement, it feels good. You know, I can hear perfectly. You can hear, you know, whatever anybody says. If someone's speaking to me, I can hear perfectly fine. So you have that. The top feels good. The adjustment is nice and comfortable. Rotating to the back of the headgear, you have that pad on the back of the head. And you can see that there's a good amount of room around the neckline to where I can fully rotate my head. So you do have that as well. Coming to this side, again, placement is really good. Just wish there was some type of ear donut, because if you get struck to the side of the head, you can definitely feel there's really no padding around this area of the headgear, and you can definitely feel like the cartilage in your ear can get pinched down on when it gets hit. Now, removing the face shield is really simple. It's literally just Velcro that holds it into place, and you have 5 anchor points. That's the chin strap, wrong one. Where is it at? There it is. So you have 5 anchor points, 2 right here, 2 here, and 1 at the very top. Once you have those taken off, it simply just pulls right off. So here's the plastic face shield with the 5 anchor points, nothing to it. Again, this weighs about 7 ounces. So if you want to use a face shield, you can. If you're not, go ahead and put it to the side. And then you can essentially just put the Velcro back into its place. Oh, one thing I did want to mention before I forget, and this is something I've been thinking about before I made this video, was if you were to use this with the face shield, you're going to have to spar, when you're sparring somebody, you're probably going to have to spar somebody that has the same style of headgear, or at minimum a face saver. And the reason I say that is if you're using this and your sparring partner is using an open face headgear like this, if you end up clashing heads with them and they have an open face headgear, you're going to do a lot of damage to their face because of this gigantic plastic bar. And if it smashes right into their face, you can definitely do a lot of damage, and even you can possibly break their nose. So keep that in mind. If you are using this face shield headgear and you're sparring with it, you're definitely going to have somebody that has a face saver or a face shield headgear like this one as well. Otherwise, there's an inherent safety risk with this plastic face shield. Now, as an open face headgear, this is where I'm at. This is how I feel the most comfortable when I spar. I'm not a fan of face savers. I've never been, just because I feel like they're actually taking away more than they're adding. You know, you feel like you're more protected, but you end up taking more unnecessary shots than you typically would. When it's open like this, I can see everything. It's almost like I don't have a headgear on. I have excellent peripheral vision, both horizontally and vertically. I can see down like I had no headgear on. And to me, this is perfect and does its job where it needs to. Obviously, headgear has always been designed, the first time headgear was ever designed, and it's been the same way, it was to prevent any types of cuts, bruises, any type of damage from clashing of your heads. And I've talked about this in so many videos before when it comes to headgear, that it's not meant to reduce like brain injury and damage from the concussive force of a punch. It's to prevent you, if you were to clash with somebody, then you don't end up getting any types of cuts or bruises or any type of damage around your orbital bone, on your cheekbone. And that's what it's really there to prevent. But when it's open face like this, it's essentially like an amateur Olympic style headgear. That's basically what it's converted to. And you have excellent vision. The foam padding feels nice and comfortable. It's now lighter, so you don't have the weight of the plastic shield on the front. And that's essentially what you have now, is a hybrid amateur style open face headgear without the face shield on. This is the way I prefer it. I feel it's the most comfortable this way, and when I'm sparring, I could pretty much see everything that comes my way. Yes, it doesn't have the protective properties of the face shield, so if I do get punched to the face, I will feel it. But I also have the benefit of seeing punches come much easier, and I can move my head and slip out of the way and just keep my movement going and my defense compared to having that face shield on. So I think that's the biggest benefit of having it in the open face format. So basically that's what you're getting with this headgear. It is a hybrid style face shield or face saver, if you want to call it, headgear, and when you remove it, it essentially turned it into an amateur style headgear. To be honest with you, at first I was like, I don't know, man. I felt like, you know, maybe it would be a gimmick, or this is just from my first looks of the headgear. I was like, well, this kind of looks weird. But the more I used it, and the fact that I don't like using the plastic face shield, but I do know that it's there, I like that. I think that's kind of cool. And I don't really think there's any other headgears out there like this, to where it is a removable shield. And when you remove it, it's still a very good headgear that you can use without the shield. So I think that's really the big, I guess, X factor with this headgear, is the fact that it is removable and you can put it on. So at the price point of $129.99, I think that's fair. All things considered, if you want to call it, with the technology or the features that it has. If you're somebody that prefers the open face style like I do, like this, it has that. But maybe if you want a face style, you know, a face shield, or you don't want to have two different types of headgear, so you're basically eliminating having to have a face saver and an open face headgear in the same gym bag. That's basically what I'm trying to get at. And you're kind of removing that when you have this face shield. So you can essentially go with that. I know some of you guys are into the aesthetics of it. You'll probably think, that looks like, I'm not a big fan of the way it looks. It looks like something that you would find like in, you know, a karate school or something like that. I get it. But, you know, looks are subjective. Some of you might like it, some of you might hate it. It's completely up to you. But this does kind of essentially eliminate having to have two different headgears, where you have an open face and you have a face saver as well, and it basically combines two into one, which I really like. And it's honestly comfortable. It's a very comfortable headgear. That was the other thing I was kind of worried about. I did a review on my Everlast SafeMax face saver years ago, and that was super uncomfortable. I hated the way that felt. So I feel like they did a really good job of making sure that this is more comfortable and more form-fitting to your head. So even at $129, I definitely think it's a fair price. I like where they went with this headgear. At first, I kind of was skeptical, but the more I wore it and I started kind of understanding where Everlast was going with this, then it totally made sense. So if you guys have any questions or comments, you guys know what to do. Put them down below in the comments box. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find this Everlast Elite 2 Pro headgear. See you guys later. Peace.